Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome along to our Narrative Getting Started webinar. Today we're going to be going over what we normally go over, so if you've seen one of these before, but we will have a few new features along with we're also live streaming on Instagram, which is pretty cool. So if you're here on Instagram, why don't you give us a wave and say that you're watching. Just to say again, we're doing it's a little getting started webinar. We're going to run over the basic features of narrative along with getting a blog published onto your website, and then some more of the intricate features inside narrative. If you're watching from wherever you are, feel free to ask any questions. If you want a bit better quality, you can hop on to our website and go narrative.so/webinar. And that will take you to a better live stream on YouTube. But let's get started. So first things first, if you haven't downloaded Narrative or you haven't even used Narrative before, the first thing you're going to want to do is head to narrative.so on your browser. And this will take you to our website. You can log in, start trial, or you can just scroll down to the bottom and click on this download button here. Once you've downloaded your Narrative, it should be on your computer. Open it up and move it to your applications folder. Once you have it in your applications, you can open it up. So we go Narrative, and then open up Narrative. And so when you're first greeted with Narrative, it's going to ask you to sign in. And so I'm going to sign in. And then let me grab my password. 1 second. On people on Instagram, are you able to hear me properly? Is this audio okay? Cool. Okay. Thanks, Quentin. So now that I've got my password, I'm going to log back in. And so once you log in, you'll be greeted to your Narrative homepage. We have a few blogs here before. So if you haven't blogged anything before, you won't have any blogs here. However, I've made some blogs before. I have this Asher and Libby one, which is just a couple's shoot, along with this one, which was a test one. And I have this cats one. This isn't my cats. This is someone else on Narrative's cats. But yeah, if you want me to open that, we can go into that, but we probably won't. So when you're greeted in your Narrative app, when you open your Narrative app, the first thing you're going to want to do is click this Create New Blog button here. This is going to start your new blog. Let's get into it and make our blog. So I'm going to add our blog's title. I can't remember the exact name of the couple. Give me 1 second. Reem and Janae. Cool. Okay, so now for my blog title in, don't worry about the padding and the background color for now. I'm going to select my folder and click on this folder here. So once I have my images, once I have that folder open, I'm going to click open, and Narrative's going to find that. I'm then going to click create blog, and this will start building the blog out my images. So when you first start up Narrative, you're going to select your images, and Narrative is then going to load those images. Hey Grant, how's it going? And then we're going to be taken to our Narrative blog screen. On our Narrative blog screen, you have when you first open up one, you have your images on the left-hand side with your blog layout in the middle, and then your settings over the right-hand side. For now, we're just going to ignore the right-hand side, but we'll come to that a bit later. So I'm going to, the main thing that you can do with narrative is build blogs, obviously. So let's start building a blog. So I'm going to grab an image from the left-hand side here and drag it in and drop it in. Then I'm going to drag another one here and put it underneath. And then maybe we'll grab one more and chuck that over this side here. And let's grab another one in. So now you can see I've already got a bit of a blog started. I can double click on these images as well if I want to add them quicker, or hold Command while clicking on them and double click, and that will drop them in side by side. I can also, if I want to make a blog really quickly, we just released this new feature, which is the magic wand button. If you click on the magic wand button, it's going to open up your, it's going to put 21 images into the layout, and then now I basically already have my blog. So that's basically all of the images that I wanted to have inside my inside my blog. So I'm just going to go back through now and start arranging them so I can actually see them a bit nicer. So maybe I'm going to zoom out a touch so I get more of a context. It's probably a bit small. Let's swap this one around here. Then we'll drag that one up on top. And then we need portrait images. Give me 1 second. Okay. And maybe we want to swap this image up there and give it a bit bigger of a portrait image. Actually, I don't really like that, so I'm going to click Command Z. If I want to delete a bunch of images, I can just drag over the top of them, and that will select them, and then I can press delete. And then now let's just say I'm happy with that blog. So that took me the whole of probably about 2 minutes to make that blog. We have a nice little story emerging here. I'm going to actually swap this image there, and then that one down there. So now we have a bit more of a story. Let's swap that one back over there, and then move this one up in the middle there. Cool. Okay, so now we have our narrative blog. Now that we've made our narrative blog, let's start. Let's publish it to our website. So the best part of narrative is that when you have your blog, once you've built your blog, you're instantly able to publish it onto your website, such as websites like WordPress, Squarespace, the new Pixie Set website works, onto Webflow. Basically, almost all websites work. Does anyone have any questions about what we're doing at the moment? If not, we'll continue publishing. So I'm going to click on this gear icon down the bottom. If it's your first time publishing and you click that publish button, you'll just be instantly open with this window. So first, let's get sorted onto WordPress. So for WordPress, we suggest using our WordPress plugin so that you're able to instantly publish, and this will mean every time you press that publish button, it will put it onto the website for you completely. You don't have to copy over any code like with other methods like going onto the Squarespace site. So now I'm going to input my website URL, which is which is narrativetest.com. I'm going to click on WordPress and I'm going to select our theme, which is show it, and then I'm going to click continue. Now Narrative is going to find my website and it's going to look for the plugin on my website. So Narrative has realized, hey, you don't actually have the plugin installed. So let's hop over to our website and let's go to our plugins. So this is my WordPress website. Currently, I did have the Narrative plugin installed, however, I deactivated it just for this. But if it's your first time installing the Narrative plugin, you're going to need to click Add New, and then you will search for the Narrative publisher. And now I have the narrative publisher here, so you'd click install here. I'm just going to update it now, and then I'm going to head back to my installed plugins. Oops. And then I'm going to activate my narrative publisher. So now that I have my narrative plugin activated, I'm going to hop back over to narrative, and I'm going to click check again. And it's going to now ask me, see if I have the correct access key. So in order to make sure your connection with narrative is secure, it's going to give you an access key. So if you click copy on this, on your clipboard here, and then swap over to, hop back over to your website, you'll be able to click here, and then you'll be taken to where your access key was, or where you should put your access key. So if you paste in your new access key, you probably won't have one here before, but if you, so you can just paste it on top. I'm going to click OK. It's going to save those changes, and we're going to hop back into narrative. So if we hop back into narrative and click check, it's now going to successfully recognize narrative, and we're now going to set. So after this step here, you're asked for you get shown your categories, and you get asked what category you want to put your website in, or your blog in. I'm just going to leave it uncategorized for actually. Let's swap over to weddings, and then I'm going to click update. And we also have this option of always publish as a draft. So if we, since we have that enabled, it will always publish as a draft. So now I'm going to click publish, and it's going to publish to our narrative website. So if we give that a few minutes, it should be up. While that is publishing, does anyone have any questions either on like Instagram or on YouTube itself? So the other way that you can publish onto your website is by using the code snippet. So we'll go over that after. And so sometimes, depending on your WordPress host, they don't allow the use of the narrative WordPress plugin. But that's okay, because you can use the code instead. So the code basically, instead of narrative putting the code onto your website, we give you the code and you copy the code and paste it onto your website. So after we've got this, blog up on our website, we'll go back and do that, along with we'll run over how to publish your blog onto a Squarespace site, and then we'll go back into something that's a little bit more advanced. So this should only take a few more seconds. Okay, cool. So while that's uploading, we can talk about a few other things. One of them is just like, let's just talk about some little things that you might not realize. Firstly, we can change the padding between our images. So if I have so none of these changes are going to be applied on our website when we upload it. So it might look a bit different when it's fully published, but that's okay. So I'm going to change our padding to 40, and that's going to give us a bit more space on the inside. You'll notice we also have this background color option. That's just so you can get a bit better of a contextual understanding of what it looks like on your website. So if we, so say if we made it like blue or something, then it's going to look a bit weird, right? But that's not that won't be what goes on your website. It will match what is on your the background on your website anyway. So I'm going to swap that back to what it normally was. And then you'll also see that it tells you about your imported images and your total number of images used. And then if you scroll down, we have these other features down the bottom here. So the first section is your social plugins panel. This is where you can include Pinterest buttons along with including Facebook comments. So if we click enable on those, once we update our blog after this first time, we can click on include Facebook. We will be able to hover over the images and then they will load up. Okay, cool. So let's hop back to, give me 1 second, let me make sure that fits. WordPress site, and you can see that it's already instantly loading. Oh no, we're using the classic editor. But you can see this, this first image shows up here, and then you can also click this edit in narrative button and it will open up narrative for you. It's going to open up the wrong version of narrative that I have installed, so I'll just quit that. But then you can also see when you click on text, that's narrative there. So let's go back and has that finished updating? Yep, so let's go back here and I'll show you just how that change of padding and those Pinterest pins look. So if you hover over your images now, you'll see that it's with a click of a button, we've added our padding along with our Pinterest buttons. So yeah, now let's unpublish this blog and let's instead publish it onto our Gutenberg, onto our WordPress using the code instead. So I'm going to unpublish the blog and I'm going to click on this button here and I'm going to change, I'm going to click to other for now. You can also set it up as WordPress, you just need to click I don't want to use the plugin. And so if we go custom and then it will go, okay, cool. And now we click publish. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, so while we're waiting for that, I'm just going to, actually no, I'll leave that. Well, let's go and go back to our WordPress dashboard. And then we will go posts, add new post. So this is how, if you've got the code version, you'll need to do this in order to get the blog onto your website. So once you've made your new post and we go and you put in your blog title and then you click on, so originally you'll be put into this visual tab, instead we want to be put in our text tab, and so I'm going to hop back to narrative now that the blog is published. I'm going to click this copy link button. So what this does is it gives you an HTML code that you can paste onto your website, which whenever it gets put onto your website, it loads up and it will load up your narrative blog. So let's hop back to our WordPress website and paste that code. And now let's click back onto the visual tab and you'll see this, our first image shows up. And so now we can tell that our narrative blog is loading successfully. So if I click preview, it's going to show us a preview of what that post will look like. And cool. And so now you can see that our blog should have loaded. There we go, great. So now that we have our blog so now we have published our blog onto WordPress using the code, and that's just for the classic editor. So let's now show we'll show you how to do it if you have Gutenberg installed. So if I go and disable, just gonna click leave. If I go and disable the classic editor and then enable Gutenberg and go and add a new post, we will now be presented with the Gutenberg editor. So now that I'm on Gutenberg, you can see the layouts a bit differently. You have these blocks here, and so I'm going to put in my title, which is, and then I'm going to click on this Adblock button here. I'm going to search for custom HTML. So this is the one that you want to make sure you put your narrative blog in. If you put it inside your a code block, then it won't load. And so we're going to click paste as we did before with the other code, and we can click on preview, and it will preview up our little blog. And so now we can see our blog is loading already on the back end here. And that's one of the nice things about Gutenberg, is that if you're using Gutenberg, you can see your blog before while you're still editing it. And so if I click on generate preview here, it's going to load up that preview. And then we have our narrative blog post here. So cool. So that's how to publish onto WordPress by both using the plugin along with using the code on both Gutenberg and the classic editor. Does anyone have any questions? And if you want, we're also people on Instagram, we're also live streaming on YouTube. So if you want to see a bit better of a picture, you can go to www.narrative.so/webinar, and that will take you to the webinar, and you can chat there and see it a bit clearer. So now let's go back to our narrative, and let's go and unpublish the blog. Actually, we'll leave this like this for now. When you're let's publish onto Squarespace now. So as I did, actually I am going to unpublish it, and we'll walk through the steps completely. So now that we have unpublished our blog, I'm going to click on this gear icon again and go to our narrative website instead. I believe our narrative website on Squarespace is narrative@square.com. And then I'm going to click continue, and this will tell narrative, okay, now we're publishing onto Squarespace. So I'm going to click OK, and now I'm going to click publish. And that's going to publish one more time as we had before. And so while we're waiting for that to publish, I'm just going to head to my Squarespace account, and I'm going to enter our narrative blog, and then I'm going to start up a new page. So you can, on Squarespace, you can basically put the blog wherever you want, because you have access to blocks around or wherever you want. You have access to the blocks all the time. So we're just going to click on our pages here, and we're going to, I'm going to delete this one because otherwise we have too many pages. And then I'm going to add a new page, just a blank page. I'm going to type as our title, and I'm going to open that up. And so we'll now be presented with our blank page on Squarespace. I'm going to hover over where our text box would be, or where the main content of our blog would be, and I'm going to click on this plus icon up here, and this is going to open up the block selector. I'm going to search for code. So on Squarespace you do enter it into the code, and I'm going to hop back to narrative now, and I'm going to click on this copy link button down here as we did before for WordPress, and copy the link, and then I'm going to head back to Squarespace, paste the code, click apply, and then it will show up with our first image, and it will show that we're previewing in safe mode. I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to, that's all sorted. So I'm going to just eat this URL slug and go in here, which is a new window, www.narrative. And now that we're on our website, we can see our blog is loading. So this is so on our Squarespace website we have the CSS to make it wider. That was just for testing something. Yours will probably be more in the middle, like that. But as you can see, we have our images here. So I'm going to zoom out. Oh no, that's going to keep the same, isn't it? So this is our blog on our Squarespace site, and so now you've published your blog onto your website. So that's the basics of publishing your blog onto your website. It doesn't get any more complicated with that. If you have a different website, you might need to do it slightly differently. If you need a hand with that, come talk to Narrative Support, and we're more than happy to walk you through how to do any of that. But for now, that's all that you need to know about publishing. So let's head back into Narrative and look over some more of the more interesting details. So now that I'm back in my Narrative blog here, as we were talking about before, you can add Pinterest buttons. So we have our Pinterest buttons enabled. You can also add Facebook comments. So if I hop back over to our site here and scroll down to the bottom, you can see that we have a Facebook comment section, and that's stuck specifically to your Narrative app. It's stuck to your Narrative blog, sorry. We also have the option to, I'm going to close that, include lightboxing. So lightboxing is a really great way for people on mobile to view your blogs. We'll go through it when we update our blog, but if you click on an image when it's published, it will show up in a full screen mode, and you will be able to scroll through them like you're looking at a gallery. So say if this image was too small on mobile, we would want to see it in full screen. We click on it, it opens it up. We also have, as we talked about before, the option of clicking this button here, and it will just add those images to your layout. So now this is a new feature that came out with the most recent version of Narrative, which is 2.3.2. So if you're not on this version, you'll need to update, and then you'll be able to use this tool. It's really nice for being able to, if you're needing to make a quick blog, to just click on it and have your blog made, or wanting to get some layout or some of your layout done already. You can also filter this mode by clicking on this filter button here, and you can do it if you have some of your images rated from stars. You can click on those there, or you can change modification date, reverse order, blah blah blah, all of those things and that will impact how your Magic Wand button looks. I'm going to delete a few of these here just so that we can publish it quicker. We've got a few more. And then the next step of Narrative is the next advanced feature of Narrative is this Adblock function up here. So if we click up here and we can open up our ad block, you can see that we have the first one here, which is our text box. So I'm going to grab this text block and drag it in, and I'm going to start typing. It's a very loud noise. Ooh, it's weird. Don't know what that was. So I'm going to start typing, be like, Ream, and so that is very tiny at the moment. So I'm going to zoom in a bit so that we can see it. Cool. So now that we can see that, and then I'm going to start typing some more. Cool. Okay, so now we have some text. So if I click on this text box here, you're going to be taken to your text properties in the right-hand side. This is your paragraph. And this shows you what you can do with your text. So currently our text looks a bit bland. It doesn't look like what would actually be on our website. And this is because when you publish with Narrative, your text settings, your text style gets set on this text block. So if I had a bright pink font with bold or with massive writing as my paragraph, then you would be able to see that. We can also change it to a heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. We can also bold it. We can also, if we highlight a specific section of text, we can click here, and that will open up our hyperlinks. And we can also make it more in the center, the width of the block. We can center it and do all stuff like that. So I'm just going to take it back like that. So that's your text block there. Now I'm going to, so you can add this throughout your blog. You can add a title, you can add body context, and you can do whatever you want with that text box in order to add text to your blog. The next one is your, if you click on the Adblock function again, you'll be able to see this blank space block. So if you grab the blank space and you drop it into your layout, it's going to add a bit of a, it's going to add a blank image essentially to your layout. So if you drag this in, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, we'll add some negative space. However, if you double click on it, you enter cropping mode. So inside this cropping mode, you can drag the blank space to make it smaller, and you can make your blog stand out from the rest of the blogs, especially if you're using that magic wand tool. So I'm going to drag another one onto the right hand side here. I'm going to make that a bit smaller, and so now we have a bit more interesting of a layout. And you can add as many of these as you want to your blog to make it more and more interesting. So I'm going to grab another one and drop it there. I'm going to grab one more and put it down here and make that a little like that. And so now you can see how we can if we spend a little bit more time on our blog, we can make it look much more interesting and tell a really cool story. So now that I've got some blank spaces, you can see it's a bit more interesting. And we can also, the next kind of area of this is that you can, if you don't want to add blank spaces as blocks, you can double click on images. So if we go down here and double click on an image, you'll enter into the images cropping mode. So if I'm inside the images cropping mode, you can, you'll notice that by seeing these blue bars that show up and these little squares here. If you have those, you can drag on the image to make it smaller, and then you can drag this image around inside the layout here. And then I'm going to center this, and then you can also make the actual block itself a bit taller, or a bit whatever way. By dragging this blue bar, it will change how it looks. And then let's go down and add it to do this on this one as well. Oh. That was weird. Drag that down. And then I'm going to do it on these two below as well. I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay, cool. So now that we have, so now we've made our blog look a bit more interesting. Cool. So now, okay, I'm just going to restart narrative because it's being a little bit weird. Give me 1 second. There we go. Cool, okay. So now we have a bit more interesting of a layout. If I want to publish this straight to, actually let's add one more block first. Actually, let's add one more block and then we'll go over SEO and then we'll publish it back onto our website. So the last block in this add block section is a downloads button. So if you drag that downloads button into the bottom of your layout, or anywhere in your layout, you will be able to, you will be able to, when clients view your blog, they'll be able to scroll down to the bottom and click download images, and this will download the images for them into a zip folder, and then they can look at them. So now that we've gone through those, let's head on over to our SEO. So if we click on up here in the top right, you will see the SEO panel. And so this is your SEO section. And when you want to do SEO on narrative, you're first asked to do your focus keywords of your blog. So focus keywords are basically you telling narrative what you want to focus on for this blog. So this blog was shot in Morocco, I believe. And it was a elopement, and so we kind of want to rank for those words. So give me 1 second to double check something. Cool. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so I'm going to first set Morocco as my focus keyword. That's a pretty big focus keyword. I can't remember the exact name of the area, but you might want to specify the area a bit more. Photography, elopement. So now that we have our focus keywords of the blog, if we click off of here, narrative is going to be like, great, you now have your focus keywords. And now it's going to give us some extra information, extra guidance on the rest of our narrative blog. So first things first, you'll see our SEO title. So if you can see SEO title there, that says that the title has 14 characters. This is less than the minimum recommendation. So if we hop back over to this section here, we can click on our master settings. And this is our SEO title here. So we have their names here, and I'm going to do that and follow it by Morocco elopement. Morocco elopement photography. And so if we click back over here, we'll see that our narrative has given us some more guidance, and now we have an orange light instead of a red light. And so narrative says that the SEO title has 46 characters instead of the recommended 45. I'm just going to leave that because it's only one character over. If you're 10 characters over, we would say make sure you get a little bit, you make sure that you remove a few of those, but since we're only one over, that's okay. And narratives SEO is only a guide. It's not like if you have orange SEO, you're going to not rank at all. Orange means like it's okay, it might be great, but we're not 100% sure. You could probably do better, whereas green is like, yeah, this is likely to be very good. If we hop back over to doing our meta description now, let's hop back over to the main page here and open up our meta description tab. And so I'm going to type a meta description. So your meta description is a little description of the blog, and it basically tells the client or the viewer what is happening in the blog. So Google doesn't actually scrape meta descriptions. It's more just for your actual people to see before they click onto your website. So if we go, this beautiful elopement was shot in yes, I've been spelling elopement wrong the whole time. Whoops. Morocco, and we had a really great time with the photography. So that's my little very good description, meta description. So I'm going to hop back over to narrative here, and it says you should add more characters. So maybe I need to hop back and add. I'm just going to take that out because narrative won't recognize. They were such a fun couple to shoot. They were such a fun couple to shoot. And now if we hop back over, narrative's going to be like, great, your meta description is a good length, you're nailing it, and you also have all of your focus keywords in it. Well done. So now that we've got our meta description done, we can head over to our image keywords. Now with narrative, you can set image keywords by clicking onto an image, and it shows up in this properties panel again. I'm going to take a drink of water, 1 second. I definitely just poured that all over me, I'm sorry about that. And now when we click on, we have our image keywords here, and we've clicked on our image, and we can see that our image properties is open up on the right hand side. We can see a panel for image keywords. So with your image keywords, you want to describe what's happening in the photo. You want to give a little description of what is going on so that when Google scrapes over it, they can see. They can take what's going on. So we can go Morocco bike in alleyway. Morocco bike in alleyway. Cool. And so now that we've done our first focus keyword, let's move on to the next one. So in narrative, you can either click on the next image or you can just press tab and it'll take you down to the next image inside the layout. So if you click, so now that we're on the next one, we go buildings, and summer's day, and we can go to the next one, couple holding hands, and so we can just keep going and do this extremely quickly. The other way that you can The other way you can do this is by selecting multiple images at once. So say if we have this section of our blog and we go, oh yeah, this is quite a cool blog, quite a cool little section, they all are pretty similar. We can